Well, good evening, internets. It's me, DP Knudten, for another edition of Bookward Bound, my 301-day journey from I should really do this to done. And what does that mean, Bookward Bound? Well, it's all about going and doing live stream videos just like this every single night for 301 consecutive days so that I can create a brand new book ready for 2021. And what's that book called? Well, you've already seen the cover. It's called Nonfiction Brand, Discover, Craft, and Communicate the Completely True, Completely You brand you already are. And I'm going to be self-publishing that via Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform. And the only way I can do that is if I have the book done by the 31st of December, 2020. And then the very next day, I upload the press-ready PDF files to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing platform, where, as I say, it will be self-published and ready for purchase via Amazon, etc. Cool, right? It's a big task, but it's actually getting done, and I'm actually very excited about it. In fact, as I've compiled the book, which is, I've written the book, and now I'm compiling it into a finished format, I'm finding out that my goal of having a 250-page book is probably going to be more like 270 pages, if not more. And I thought last night or the night before that the book was actually kind of locked down in terms of content. But then I edited a brand new podcast episode featuring Mike Allton. And there's some great stuff in there that I think I want to cover. But before I make that decision, I've got to actually look at the transcript of the podcast that I just edited today, and especially in context of the book that's actually written, which you can see right here in Scrivener. I've got a whole lot of sections and chapters in here already. Do I have room for another one featuring Mike Allton? I think I might, or I might want to make that happen because he had some great stuff that he was talking about what to write about and stuff like that. So I think I might want to find a place for it. But first, let's take a look over at Descript. Descript is an application, which you can see right here, that you can use to transcribe your audio. And it's actually pretty darn cool because if you look down here, you can see the waveform of the actual audio. But here's the actual written words. So if I put my cursor over here and hit play by hitting the tab key on my MacOS keyboard. Well, I got to admit, I was impressed by something on your bloggingbrute.com website. Okay, so, and then I can go in here, blogging. .com. Ooh, get rid of that RTE. I can actually fix the transcription. Well, I gotta admit, I was impressed by something on your bloggingbrute.com website that caught my eye, specifically under the About Mike Allton. Specifically under the About Brute page, there was and you appear to think it's significant too because it's actually in bold type, and I'll read it aloud for everybody. Give that a comma. And I'll read it aloud for everybody. Let's put a quote in there. My average blog post is over 2,000 words long, took just an hour to write, and people see it everywhere when it's published. Okay, now you don't. So that'll be the end of the quote. Okay, now you don't know me, but I've been a copywriter, advertising copywriter for close to 3 decades now. And I used to think I was a fast writer based on all the writers that I was surrounded by. I have never written. I have never written 2,000 words in an hour. when I saw that citation, I'm like, holy moly, this guy. I'm like, holy moly, this guy. When it comes to the speed at which you can create such quantity. So good on you for that.
Yeah, and I would, first of all, joking aside, would say speed isn't what's most important. Even the number of words isn't what's most important. What's most important is that we're providing value to our audience.
So I'll take that up here.
What's most important is that we're providing value to our audience. Now, what allows me to do that consistently and quickly is one of the tenets I teach people often, which is to write about what you know. Most of the people that I'm talking to or working with, you know, when we really get down to or working with, you know, when we really get down to it, you know, to or working with, you know, when we really get down to it, you know, because everybody says, I hate blocking, I hate writing. And so, everybody says, I hate blocking, I hate writing. It's so painful to me. And I'm like, okay, let's figure that out. Why is it so painful? Why do you hate it? Well, it takes me 6 to 8 hours to write an article. They'll tell me. I'm like, really? Why? They'll tell me. I'm like, really? Why does it take you so long to write 750 words or 1,000 words on a particular topic? Well, I've got to look all this stuff up and I've got to research it and I've got to cite my facts. I'm like, who's that?
Got to cite my facts.
Cite my facts. I'm like, who's asking you to write a college research paper?
I'm like, who's asking you to write?
That's really what they're doing, right? They're trying to create this body of research. And what people really want to know is what's already inside their head. And if they could get themselves out of that mindset, well, I need to. What people really want to know is what's already inside their head. And if they could get themselves out of that, mindset, well, I need to research everything and just share what they know, their experience, share their stories, or
share what they know, comma, their experience, period. Share their stories.
Their stories are already in there. That experience, share their stories are already in there. That comes pretty.
I'm going to have to fix that one. For some reason, this won't allow me to do M dashes, which is annoying because M dashes are my favorite punctuation, but that's okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all this text copied and I'm going to plug it in here. What do I talk about? Discovering, branding, doing, differentiation and demonstration. Let's go Mike Allton sharing. No. And who you. And then I'm going to all that. Just plug in. Mike Allton, NFB podcast number 117. Yeah, and then go bingo. Close this up. That has to be I. Five. All right, right about. Trending equals doing. This might be a good place. Maybe. So first off, I'm going to give this a yellow flag, which is my color coding to tell me that, hey, I've started this, but it's not done yet. I think I might want to do. Might want to take Sarah's. Yeah, let's take Sarah down. Take all of this. Plug it in here. There goes. I don't like this line though. To break into. Trying to break. Into. How about Sarah? Gross. Breaking. Linked. In. Breaking LinkedIn. How about that? Yeah, I like it. I've been going with breaking LinkedIn. Maybe do it like that. Waking. This pick. Some Sarah. And liked. What? Gee. Picture. 1,000. That's what I'll do. All right, so I've got Mike Allton after that. As I've also people, many people hate. Many people hate writing. I'm convinced that it's not the writing so much, but the not knowing what to write about. Certainly every professional writer hates writing. Writing too, unless an idea, then it comes more of the matter of getting, fumbling fingers to quickly. Brain can't create. That's completely how I feel. Hate. That's completely. Apparently. Completely how I feel. And it's sentiment shared I member of the blogging root, proud member. Squad. Mike Allton. He's located smack dab in the center of the United States, just about far from the capitals of media influence. He could be, and yet he's been able to carve a distinct place in the line. Universe. The digital marketing universe that has earned him the attention of people from around, not only the U.S., but the online. Marketing sphere. But the marketing blogosphere international. How'd he do it? How'd he do it? Focusing. I focus. Not just forum blogging. But small handful specific fix. So that's another quote that's in Let's see. You rank or all right, so let's clean this up.
Well, it's almost better because then you can truly own that thing. If you're a generalist, well, join the rest of the world.
You're generous.
Well, join the rest of the world. But if you're a specialist, you're one of one.
That is 100% true. And it's a lesson that I have learned the hard way over the years. I started writing about anything that I considered within the realm of online marketing, which is a huge, broad space, right? I wrote about social media and content marketing and SEO and email marketing and paid advertising and even like online classified ads, email signatures. I even went so far as to write about technology that was being developed and released. Like I live blogged iPhone launches and those kinds of things. And it was just anything that I could think of was related to my core business, which at the time was 100% just social media. I wrote about it. And it wasn't until years later that I looked back and finally learned this hard lesson, which was that most of that effort was a total waste of time.
This hard lesson.
Which was that most of that effort was a total waste of time. Nobody came to read my live blog of the Apple iPhone 3GS when
that was a numeral
3GS when it was released. Nobody read that article that day or any day afterwards, which means all the time that I put into creating that piece of content was a waste. And it gets worse because when you know SEO and you know content creation, what you know is that your website has a total number of pages, posts, and total words. And Google's not really looking at when you publish things. I mean, they are, but not thinking about the way you and I are. Google's looking at your entire site. How many words did Mike write about blogging? How many times did Mike write about Facebook? How many times did Mike write about Facebook? And when you add irrelevant content to your site, it waters down the overall ratio, right? My site, the social media hat, which is right. My site, the social media hat, which is my social.
That could be a new paragraph.
My site, the social media hat, which is my social media blog, it's well known and well ranked for Facebook.
Social media blog, comma.
It's well known and well ranked for Facebook related topics. That drives traffic all day long. But when I publish something about email signatures, when I publish something about Apple iPhones, I'm adding to the total word. I'm not talking about Facebook signatures. When I publish something about Apple iPhones, I'm adding to the total word count and page count of the site. I'm not talking about Facebook. I'm not talking about Facebook in those posts. So it's really diluting the effectiveness of the site. And that's something that you could easily see or measure. It's only really in hindsight that you realize, oh, okay, that article is not part of my core. I shouldn't have published. it. I shouldn't have wasted the time, and I shouldn't have wasted the space, literally, on my site. That's why a lot of SEO experts today will tell you, look, go through your site today, look at all the articles that are getting traffic and all the articles that aren't getting traffic, and just start deleting them, start unpublishing content that publishing content that's getting no traffic. And if it's getting some traffic, that's getting no traffic. And if it's getting some traffic, see if you can either redirect it to a better article or improve it in some way, because that stuff, that garbage that's not getting any traffic at all, that's actually hurting you.
I like all this stuff. Let's take all of this. Let's just say the power of focus for now. So I can plug this in. Quote aluminum. Down at the bottom. Aluminum anodization. Giving aluminium. Giving aluminum. Phase 2 special. Aluminum anodization, giving aluminum, giving it a coating. C-O-A-ting. Number is the number one. There's because they did what you talked about, which is share what you know. Share what you know. Niche. Nishi. Nishi. What is it? No.
They did what you talked about, which is share what you know, no matter how arcane or obtuse or strange.
Be into Mike. 100% true. Comma. Right. I wrote about social media and core business. 100% social media. BGS. They are, but they're not thinking about the way you and I. Google's looking at your entire site. How many words did I write about? How many times did? How many times has Mike written about Facebook? When you add irrelevant content, right? My site, social media at .com, which is my social media blog. It's well known and ranked Facebook related topics that drive traffic all day long. Get rid of that link. Remove link. But when I publish something about email signatures, publish something about Apple phones, I'm adding to the tool. I'm not talking about Facebook in those books. So it's really diluting the effectiveness of the site. And that's something that you could easily see or measure. It's only really in hindsight that you realize, oh, okay, I shouldn't have published it. I shouldn't have wasted my time, or I shouldn't have wasted the space literally on my site. That's why a lot of SEOs will tell you, look, go through your site today. Look at our traffic and blah, 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 blah. Topic. So it's topic super. Specialization is a superpower. How about that? It'll work. All right. Okay, so I'm digging this. But I want to come back to this fresh tomorrow. Not that I'm all that tired or anything, but occasionally when I find myself kind of slowing down or shifting the gear down, that's kind of my signal to give it a break, take it easy, come back tomorrow, work on it again. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I feel good about where I got today. And consequently, I'm not going to try to force stuff because, frankly, I don't need these pages in the book. I mean, this is great stuff that I'm including, but my book is done for all intents and purposes. And this is just gravy. So I'm not going to sweat the gravy. I'm going to come back tomorrow, take a look at this, figure out if I can trim out some of the fat on this thing and add some interstitial copy transitions and stuff like that. But for now, I'm good. So I'm going to say good night. Good night. Well, almost good night. But before I go, I want to say I'm DP Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast. A brand new episode's coming out tomorrow talking about this very guy, Mike Allton. And it comes out at 3 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And a.m. Yeah, I said a.m. So in the morning. So you can pick it up right away. All you have to do is search Nonfiction Brand, and you'll see that cover art come up. Not the full book, but that center section that says Nonfiction Brand and my photo. If you see that, that is the actual album art or cover art for the podcast, and you'll know you got the right thing. So go ahead and pull that down. Take a listen to the first of 2 episodes featuring Mike Allton tomorrow. Next week, next Monday, the second half of the conversation will come out as well. And it's all worth it because we had this wonderful conversation. I did not know Mike before the conversation, but by the end of it, I'm like, dude, you're part of my universe. I hope I'm in yours, because he is that smart and that giving and that sharing and that wonderful a person. So definitely check it out wherever you get your fine podcasts for free. That's it for me tonight. I will see you tomorrow. But until then, theme music, take us on out.